I think we got it.
Alright. Alrighty. Gonna get started here. I call this meeting of the South Coast School of Mines Student Association to order. Roll call and approval of proxies.
Alright,
Present.
Butcher,
Present.
Camps, Captain, here, Blossom, here, Fernandez, here, Fink,
Here.
Keel,
Here.
Leonard, Lewis,
Here.
Lindgren, Masters, here, Moriarty, here, Quintana,
Here.
Richards,
Here.
Shaw,
Here.
Crossy Randolph,
Here.
Smith, Stanek,
Here.
Stolman,
Here.
Severson, here, Fosbeck, Winter,
Here.
Jamalovich,
Here.
Reservoir.
Alrighty. Alright. All those in favor of approving roll or proxy say aye. Or did we do that? No. Sorry, my brain's not working today. So did everyone get a chance to look at last week's minutes? Yep. All right. All those in favor? Any changes? Sorry, any changes to the minutes? Anyone need to look? No. All right. All those in favor of approving last week's minutes say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. Those minutes have been approved. Moving on to the agenda. Did everyone get a chance to look at the agenda today? Nothing should have changed from when I sent it out. Sorry, I was a little late. I played catch up for the last about week and a half. But any changes to the agenda you make? No. All those in favor of approving the agenda say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, the agenda is approved. Moving on, we have our Open Floor Guest India Club. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and go and present.
My name is Varun. I'm a PhD student in Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, and I'm the president for India Club for 2024-2025. Who we are is just a diverse group. We connect our culture with all the students in South Dakota Mines. We try to organize events, festivals, like some social gatherings and all. That's pretty much what we do. We do some kind of fundraising and all that. This is basically the team. Last time the team was like small. I think like around 5 to 6. I try to make it bigger, like bringing more members to it. So this is the current team, and our faculty advisor is Dr. Neha from Electrical and Communications Department. You can go to the next slide. These are the events like what we usually do, like bowling night every fall and spring for the new students. Movie night is new, like we just did one in the fall. And Diwali potluck we do with the families, and Diwali night most of you know it about. It's like one of the big functions we do. Then Holi, like it depends upon the weather. Sometimes we are able to do it, sometimes we are not. If it is snowing, we can't. And also based on the people in summer, like if anyone is there, we do summer picnic. Yeah, but that's pretty much we do. Like the events. Like accommodation, I think after I took in charge last year, I was able to bring like almost $3,000 by fundraising with a lot of business and vendors and all. And also I requested funding about 5,700 because everything is expensive now. Because we cook for Diwali, like most of this 5,700 we spend on Diwali just for one night. Like for fireworks, decorations, clothes, performances. And almost $3,000 go into cooking itself, like to get all the groceries. We don't have any big grocery store over here, so we buy it online. And other stuff we get from Sunflower. So that's pretty much our expense. And whatever is left out, we do body night, movie night, and all that stuff. Then we didn't have an Instagram or a Facebook page. I was able to establish all that to connect more, so that everyone knows us. You all can be part of our club and be part of the events. Then goals, just improve more fundraising so that we can do more events. And we also started like participating in on-campus activities like what they pay in the town and all. They were not doing it, so I just to encourage my club committee members to do it and be part of like volunteer experience and all. And yeah, that's pretty much our goals for the next year. And if you like to support us, that's QR code. And we are looking for volunteers for Diwali. I think most of you have got an email regarding this for decoration, cleaning, and cooking. So if you all are interested, you can help us out for Diwali. And that's pretty much.
Any comments, questions for India Club?
Are a lot of these students in your club like grad?
Sorry, the vice president.
Oh, are a lot of the students in your club graduate students then? Or
Most
is
of
that-
them are graduate
Okay.
students. Yeah, they were like pretty undergrad students too. Like Yash was there; he was a treasurer last year. But they were most of them graduated. So we are So now majority of them are grad students.
Any other comments, questions for India Club? Seeing none. Thank you for coming. All right, moving on. We don't do unfinished business. We have that resolution for the application.
I presented on this last week, so I will not be reading it again. I want to ask Corey real quick too. Did we ever get in contact with Hike and Bike? Because they never reached out to me.
Yeah, so let exec team know. I emailed the whole roster that was on there last year, talked to a couple students. It sounds like the officer team graduated. So there was one student, he just doesn't have time, so he's like, I could maybe look in the spring, try to revitalize it. So I just didn't really get any interest. We also had a conversation with Geraldine Roberts. Obviously there is some tie to the trail, but until we figure another plan, once the weather turns out nice, it may just be limited on the amount that facilities can do to maintain. They'll go through and maintain when they can, but we'll just have to work through that until we get it back up and running.
All right, Senator Lewis.
Are we still gonna deactivate the club then, or are we gonna put it into like a dormant state and say it's still there, that way there's still like something attached to the trail?
You can do either. I mean, according to our guidelines and the Constitution, if they don't fulfill the 14 days of deactivated. So I think if for something comes up, say January, and you get a group of students that are interested, I think it's more of a quick reactivation than maybe the process that we usually do for new works. So I think if they come back, we could reactivate it pretty easily.
Any other questions?
I'd also like to make a comment. If like the trail hike and bike doesn't come back this spring, I'm part of the National Society of Black Engineers, and one of our things is to try to get out to the community, do stuff like that. So to keep up with the maintenance of it, if we can get into contact with the right people, we can try to also help do that as well. I know that we're obviously not the hike, bike, trail, but we can also try to help as well in that fashion.
And on that point too, Green Flag also looks for volunteer hours wherever they can. So I'm pretty sure we won't have a shortage of volunteers who need to keep the trails. So. All right. I just want to encourage everyone to take one last look at the list before we vote on this, just in case we know, just in case you know anyone who's in the clubs. So, I'm gonna take this time to say, speak now or forever hold your peace. Senator Fernandez.
Can we move this off till next week? I'll just talk to that club and figure out. I contact you.
Application Development Club was literally in my class last semester,
Yeah.
promoting itself.
Yeah, so I am in a unique position with that one. Yeah,
We could table it until further discussion happens.
I mean,
Yeah.
and we could, like data miners, for example, they're relatively new. we gave them an extension. They were on that list initially, they're back. So, yeah, if you know contact, I mean, you want to keep them active as long as possible, so.
Yeah, I feel like for applications at all, club though, I was a former treasurer, and so they don't sound like they're pretty active this semester, but if we want to table it, we can make a motion to do so. We feel comfortable doing that. Motion to table by Senator Fernandez, seconded by Senator Ladder. Is this a roll call?
This isn't all in favor.
Yeah, all in favor of tabling this motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, pose same sign. All right, motion is tabled. Alrighty. Alright, moving on. New business this week. So, moving on, we'll have the wellness survey presentation. So,
So these are the Wellness Center survey results. And here are some demographics for how the survey, for who responded to the survey. Next slide, please. And pretty even, good proportional spread for the class standing, I'd say. Next slide.
So yeah, what hours do you use the gym? A lot of people use evenings, like 4 p.m. to close, and then a lot are trying to go in early before class. We had a couple that found time in between, but overall there wasn't like a huge amount of consistency in people go to the gym.
Next slide. How often? So most of the respondents, they use it more than 3 times a week or daily, and a lot less of them use it less than 3 times a week. But most of the people that responded to the survey are they use the gym quite regularly. And as far as weekend usage goes, it's about 50-50 split. More, but slightly more students use the gym on weekends than not. Next slide. And
Would you be willing to be trained on how to use the gym after hours? So that's kind of a big issue that we found with a lot of people. Was one of our main issues was just access. So this is kind of a solution that we came up with, so that we don't have to hire more people to sit in the gym. We can just train people to go in after hours and be able to use the equipment in a professional manner and not destroy stuff or themselves. So it would give them access after hours. And most people were willing to be trained to do so.
And only 4 of the people that use the gym on weekends said they were not willing to use the gym after hours. And there was quite a few of those students who use the gym on weekends. And with this survey, I left it relatively open-ended, and digging through the results, get to use the filter functions on the Excel spreadsheet. So that's just why there's not many graphics associated with it. That's why. Bob Sales intended it to be pretty open-ended.
So yeah, this kind of goes back to what we were saying. This was kind of open-ended. What are your issues? That kind of thing. So like I said, the top issues were access on Sunday and access after hours. So just access to the gym in general, because not everyone can go before class and not everyone can go with the time allotted after class. So that was overall the largest issue. And then some people kind of wanted a couple additions and changes to the equipment, like more free weights was a big one, more squat racks, improvements in the climbing area. A few people mentioned that. And then for some reason, which I thought was kind of funny, all of the lifters kind of hate cardio for some reason. So there was a lot of suggestions to just boot cardio upstairs or to some unknown area. So Other additional equipment besides the main ones mentioned was a speed bag with adjustable height, gymnastic mats, probably behind the squat rack for stretching, more leg machines along with better space to use them, gymnastics rings, and more equipment in general, machines, seated hamstring curls, chest supported bow, and plate loaded leg press. Like I said, overall, our main issue is just access to the gym. That's what people want.
And as far as Sundays, access on Sundays go, I do remember Rob still saying that I think the biggest thing for that was it was a funding thing. So I believe the access after hours would be the easiest kind of happy medium to achieve. I have not shared these slides with Rob yet, but I plan to do that as I acquire more free time. Probably I'll try to do that tomorrow or Friday, if he's available. And many students did provide their student ID, so they are very, very interested enough to put their student ID on the response. So I can give Rob Sales that information as well. And if he has any further questions for students, he can contact them. Next slide, and I believe that's all. Any questions for myself or the rest of Student Affairs Committee? None? Okay.
So for the request for more hours, do you think there are hours we could take that we're not using and shift them like later in the day? Would people be happy with that, or is it just they want more hours?
Well, it seemed like a pretty hard stop thing of they just wanted to open on Sundays. Mm-hmm. I know it was more of a funding issue where it was just hard, like they couldn't have the
just can't have employees in there on Sunday. But if we could just give people access, then it doesn't cost the school really anything. It's kind of the idea.
We couldn't just shift hours and make people happier.
Like you mean during the school week kind of thing, or
anytime during the week? Like we couldn't take, say, noon on a Monday and then allot that to 1 hour on Sunday. That like people would be unhappy with
I think. I don't know. It's tough to say because I notice a lot of people do find just times in between classes, and I feel like taking hours away during the work week, that would disrupt that flow. I'm not sure. Director Kelly?
So if you think, as you're having a conversation, I would move Margaret, risk management, and I'm not saying this, I'm not in charge of it. I don't know that the university will get to a point where they will allow you to be in a facility without staffing. I don't know that but that may come up. And so, as I think through it, and I think that you gathered some good information. Obviously, this was when this before I started, like a year before I started here. Obviously, the Student Association at the time made the choice, right, to renovate the Wellness Center and do all these things and think about the upkeep. So I think you got some data there. What do we want in equipment? What do we want in those pieces there? A conversation that's also happened prior years, I think you can bring it up again, is look at the data and times that our students are utilizing the facility, and is there a place for us to allow either significant others of students or faculty and staff in the space, and is there a way to charge? I'm not saying you should do that, but that's a question that's come up every year since I've been here. Is there another way for them to make money by charging others or whatever, right? That could maybe help fund some other positions. I'm not saying that's what you're doing there, but is there a way that they can create some revenue and doing some other things as well? But yeah, maybe as you meet with Rob or whatever, maybe pull Margaret into that conversation too. And if we can find some additional funding somewhere, could we start maybe rather than the 24-hour access thing, could we go till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and see usage? And then if people are really night owls and working out, does that signify that, yeah, maybe we should look at helping your time and how to do that?
It's a good point.
Yeah, I can bring this information up to Rob Sales and we can go from there.
Any other questions, comments, concerns for Student Affairs Committee on this issue? Seeing none, thank you. Alright, moving on to our CFO report. Alright.
And I did get like the more detailed like gap history from that.
Alright, moving on to our Vice President reports.
The only thing we have to do is regarding our safety walk. Some of you may not be happy to hear this, but I've scheduled it for December 4th, which is the same day that we have our Christmas Day. That's the only time that's going to work for Margaret this semester, unfortunately. But if we're all involved in it, it shouldn't take too long. And hopefully we've blocked out time for that evening already. So,
Report. We'll make a comment on this. So yeah, we were having Vice President Lee and I were having a bit of a discussion about this yesterday. And so yeah, actually the plan is to do it. It should only take about an hour, I assume.
But less than the last year.
Okay, even better. This is perfect. So the plan is to do the safety walk before Christmas party, and then do Christmas party after safety walk. So cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns for Vice President Lee, Senator Smith?
Are you sure you have the space booked for that amount of time? Like, can we double check that we have enough time for the meeting, go back out for the walk, and then come back and do that?
Meantime, Senator Boucher.
What is a safety walk?
So safety walk is when we go around, basically, we walk the facilities around campus and point out things that might be considered unsafe, i.e. lights that are out, you know, like just during the winter months, maybe places where students might slip, you know, cracks and, you know, like, you know, stairs that are falling apart, buildings that might be like, you know, having stuff come off of them, just like looking for things that like look like they might be unsafe for students and the people that use facilities. So, good. Perfect. Yeah. So we're good. We're good. Right. Any other comments, questions, concerns for Vice President Lee? Seeing none, move on to my reports. We'll keep my report pretty brief today. Things I just want to go over. First of all, thank you to all the senators who participated in the presidential interviews today. We really appreciate that. Those got done right as everyone walked in. That's why a couple people were late today. So yeah, good. Me and myself and Senator Seidman will be discussing that in the entire President Search Committee tomorrow. So it'll be fun. Sorry, I am trying to find my notes for this. What else? Shed planning. So right now we're kind of waiting to hear back from Student Federation on hotels for shed planning. So that'll determine how many people we can take. So if you want to go, please let your committee chair know. Express that interest to your committee chair so they can come tell us. And then another thing too, off of shed planning as well. In order to pay for shed planning, or in order to pay for shed, we might need to take out a small money fundraise. That's the big reason we're doing fundraising, is to help pay for stuff like shed. But we're still waiting for Monument to cut us the check, so if they don't get back to us here soon, we might have to have a talk with the city. So that'll be fun. And then finally, one thing I've been meaning to discuss on or touch on for about 2 weeks now, and it keeps slipping my mind. I wrote it down, so it's not slipping my mind today. When we're in the Senate office studying, I would prefer that we keep the door open, just so in case a student walks by, they can pop their head in and talk to us. They need to do that. If they feel like they need to do that. So I just would like to have more open door policy going forward for the Student Association office if you're in there. And then next semester, I'm definitely probably going to create an Excel spreadsheet to start doing office hours again. For those who weren't here for the Marshall Spike administration, office hours were required. I think it was like 1 or 2 hours per week were required for senators. Just to, it's basically you sit in the Senate office and you sit there and for students to come in for about 2 hours a week. And if you and during that time, if you're not talking to anyone, feel free to do homework and stuff. But I will be doing that for next semester because I know right now this semester we're getting pretty ramped up with classes and tests. That's another thing. I know we're in the final stretch of this semester, so really good luck on everyone's tests. So other than that, any reports? Senator Fernandez.
Quick question. I think you have opened the policy like the entire day or so now.
Just so I guess when you're in there, the door open, and if you're asking for like evening, I'd say probably like 6 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. Senator Lewis.
I propose university business hours, 7:30 to 4:30.
7:30 to 4:30. Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Any other? Senator Gossett.
With regards to those sheets that were filled out at the interviews today, who's all going to be reading those? Just the Search Council, Board of Regents, or what's that looking like?
That's going to give much information.
Yeah, so each of the constituent leads should be getting that information to the board. So the questions obviously were things, strengths and weaknesses, right? And then as President Archer said, they'll meet with the search committee, just like you. It's not there. To get feedback there and take all that into consideration, and then the board will make their decision.
Right. Senator Lindgren.
Is there any timeline on when that decision will come out? Do we know yet? Well, I heard from a candidate today, and one of the interviews, which I feel this was the same there. Like it's usually pretty quick, at least a tentative offer. Like I would say within a few days.
Yeah.
We may not know for a bit who's selected, but I think they're going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, to give you an idea, the goal is to have a president in the job and here in Rapid by the start of the semester. Okay. Senator Vosta.
Does the Senate get a little inside scoop when it's picked, or do we have to wait like the rest of them?
Yeah, wait, yes. So,
No one at the university won't know until they announce it.
no. Vice President Lee.
On the topic of the Senate office, make coffee. Please do not leave it there for like weeks and weeks until it's moldy and slimy. That's disgusting. That's it.
All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns from my report? Seeing none, moving on to our international report.
As you know, the Diwali event is coming up with Unbreakable at 5. There's going to be free food and entertainment, so you should be there again. And we're also looking for volunteers. I'll probably send out an email or parcel of paper in the next meeting.
Comments, questions, concerns from Senator Fernandez? Seeing none, we'll move on to our veteran report.
We made $1,900 during the chili cook-off, half of which will be going to Cody. And Outhouse Race will be in February. And to incentivize Outhouse participation, we'll be donating our old outhouse legacy organization or something. And then we'll have keep the better one for ourselves. Whichever one will be being made. More details will come on that in the future because I don't know all the details yet. Yes, that's for sure.
Yes, so 2 questions. First of all, you said $1,900 for the chili cook-off?
In total.
In total, yeah, so like half the $1,900 will be getting paid.
Yes.
Great. Second of all, outhouse. So you're saying we can have an outhouse?
Potentially,
Interesting.
yes.
Interesting. I like that information. Senator Clausen.
Where is the outhouse race located?
Nemo, South Dakota, it's like a 40-minute drive. They have their own chili thing there, and it's usually kind of cold-ish, most of the times it isn't, but we make free food as donation-based, hot dogs, hamburgers, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so, I think, yeah, so 2 years ago, Senate actually participated in the outhouse race. I think I'm the only one in the room now who actually participated in that. Yeah, it's a very good time. You get to go eat chili, hang out with veterans. It's a really fun time. You just get to meet, like a lot of veterans on campus, especially that you might not have otherwise met. And there are a lot of cool people there. Yeah, but Vets Club on campus is really cool. So that's all I'd say. I had a very good time. Would recommend. So, anyways, other than that, any other comments, questions for you guys in the winter? Sorry, were you done with your report? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm done. I don't have report.
Cool. Seeing none, moving on to our non-traditional graduate report.
Nothing to report.
Very cool. Moving on to our non-traditional reports. I believe Senator Kantz was on a flight to be back here for the meeting. Unfortunately, though, his flight got delayed. Yes. So he is not here right now. So yeah, I did not get it. Did anyone get a report from him? No, I did not either. Okay. Moving on to our committee reports. Constitutional report.
We've reestablished contact with the Bangladeshi Students Club. It was kind of interesting. So more to come on that. We're supposed to be meeting with a demolition derby club tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. And that's the end of our report.
All right. Any comments, questions, concerns for Senator Keel? Yes, Vice President Lee.
Did wrestling club ever reach
Um, yeah, we did, and we told them that we thought we had overlap, and then they emailed us again, and I think they sent us a constitution, so we're working on that.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns for Senator Keel? Seeing none, moving on to our public relations reports. All right. Moving on to our government relations reports.
Pancheros is this Friday, so please go and take some friends. Like President Archer said, we're still waiting on Monument to cash our checks, so once I have that from out, I'll let you know. I'm still waiting on 2 people to sign up for Secret Santa. I will hunt you down. And Applebee's is next Wednesday. That's all I have.
Any comments, questions, concerns for Senator Leonard? Seeing none, moving on to our student affairs report.
GAP survey has been released. We'll go over the results in the committee next week. Meeting tomorrow to be determined because as of right now I don't have anything. And I'll see if I need to cover anything keyboard after this meeting. That's all I had.
Great. Any comments, questions, concerns for student affairs? Seeing none, moving on to our campus and ad hoc reports. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't there for all the interviews, so okay, whoever was in the interview room, I guess, can raise your hand for all 4 interviews, I guess. All right. Senator Langley, do you want to give us a quick report on what all went down? Thank you.
So we met with all 4 candidates. I think there's pros and cons on all of them, as you can imagine. We're trying to keep this high level. I think we made good chance with any of the 4. You want to add anything?
They each have different prospects that they brought to the table. Some have more familiarity with Rapid City and campus culture, and others not so much. And yeah, they each have different varying levels of expertise in different areas, industry versus academia. So I think that it will be a tough decision in a good way for the Board of Regents.
Then Senator Smith and Senator Leonard, do you want to get anything else said?
Yeah, some of them talked about expanding students, like they wanted to focus on recruitment. We talked about the the consequences of that, whether it's bad. Some of them wanted to expand location-wise, which was a surprise. And a lot of them actually were focused on research. I think 2 out of the 4 were talking about research a lot, but everybody was mainly focused on the students, and a lot of them just wanted students' well-being to go up.
Yeah, I feel like each of them had a very unique, different vision for campus, and it really just comes down to personal preference, I think, of the people voting on what that vision for them looks like, and that's just, but otherwise I think they're all strong contenders. It's really just what you think campus should be focusing on.
I will say, I was there for only 2 of them, so I don't feel like you did like really good. For one, I certainly have the ones I like and the ones I don't like. And I will be going over those forms that were given to us by the students tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, honestly. And I will take everyone's feedback into great consideration so I can make I myself and also Senator Seekman can make accurate choices. Because just for the student association or for the student body in general. Because we want to reflect your voices. We want to reflect everyone's voice as much as possible. So yeah. Yeah. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding that? Seeing none, just moving on to upcoming Senate business. Senator Lewis.
Do we know what the date is for Mind State Capitol?
No.
Do we just not know it and someone over in O'Hara does, or?
I think it was tentatively the 26th through the 28th of January.
That's shed.
Oh, Mines Day?
Mines Day.
Is it not like the day before?
It always depends on when they're able to reserve a day at the Capitol. So usually they have to do it like a couple of years in advance, I thought.
So we talked in leadership today that have them reach out to either Dr. Herman or maybe with Brother Roberts, maybe just see if there's anything in the works so that they know. I have not heard anything.
The reason I asked is we're doing a great job at fundraising. I want to make sure that the funds are actually going to have purpose for the use, that we're actually like planning towards what they're being used for and not necessarily just stockpiling. That we're actually if we need to go up and start looking at our plans for January, we should probably start doing that.
Yeah, eBoard started discussing that. We're kind of, part of it is waiting on, at least money-wise, Student Federation was discussing providing some sort of funding for all the senates.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're also waiting on Student Federation.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. They have an account based out of Brookings or Vermillion. One of the 2 schools has an overhead account for all of Student Fed.
Maddie did say that was something they were going to discuss at the next.
We took advantage of that for a couple of things last year. So.
Do you know how much that amount was?
We used it to reserve a vehicle to drive to Yankton. We used it for the vehicle and for a hotel in Yankton. But that was the only time we used it last year. I was told all I was ever given was an account number. It said charge whatever you need to hear. I was never told anything in it, so I just didn't ask questions. So.
All right.
I just know that when I went and talked to Kathy, it was. I'm pretty confident in saying it was a USD account number. Like I was just given like an account number when they answered it, it popped up as $1 million. So.
All right. Any other upcoming Senate business? Yes, Senator.
I'm actually speaking here with an ad hoc. I had my KTEC/TURC meeting the other day. That went well. Looks like they're back on track to getting SEC compliance getting started, actually broadcasting on the radio again. And then they're also drafting new constitutions, so it was pretty bad. So I got them in contact with Senator Olarape. So.
All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns for Senator Richards? Seeing none. Any other upcoming Senate business? Seeing none. Any announcements?
Sorry, I feel bad. I should have been an open discussion, but just a favor for all of you over these next few weeks. We're trying to make a decision on what we're going to do with Rocker Central. So the contract is done at the end of the spring semester. Right now we don't have a budget that's paid for it to pay for it anymore. So we're trying to come up with a game plan, and and we want to make an informed decision on whether or not, so we're doing some work with student groups, getting information from them, but we also want to hear from the students, right? So if you could be talking to your constituents, like, are you going to Rockford Central to find out what's going on campus for students? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And if we don't continue with the system, I've already talked to marketing and communications on how we will have a space for student groups on the website. So that fast work is happening, if we need to do that some fall. But we would like to make a decision about this beginning part of January, so that if we need to get that notice to the contract, we will do that in time, okay? And we're leaning towards not renewing, but we want to hear from students. So if you could please help my office with that over the next few weeks and just be talking to constituents, I would appreciate that.
Is presence tied to checkpoint?
It was, everything's now in one app, right? So we'll, yeah, so we'll have to think through some different things, but it's all one system. So the app, if you do the Involve app, that's where the check-in piece is now rather than the checkpoint.
Mr. Roger, 42 days till Christmas, and I know it's the answer to everything, but there is actually 42 days till Christmas.
All right, motion. Senator Bostic. All right, motion adjourned by Senator Bostic, seconded by Senator Lindgren. All those in favor, adjourn, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same
Because with this weird, you can save it.